Hello, everyone. We made it. We did it with the nick of time. Hello, we are here with Nina. Hi, Nina.
Hi.
Hello. Our chat. You are welcoming us in with tropical emojis. Oh, that's so right, right? Nina, what are we working on? What's the project that we've been working on this last day, I guess?
Yeah, sure. So we're working on Hele, which means like to go, let's go. And the idea is it's a site that people can go on to learn more about Hawaii, but specifically to take a quiz, put in kind of their preferences, how they like to vacation, the kind of things that they want to do. And then at the end, get generated, a list of custom personalized recommendations for them to plan the perfect Hawaiian getaway.
Yes, this is perfect. This is what I want in my life. I want a Hawaiian getaway, and I also want to know what I do when I do a Hawaiian getaway. So yes, all of you in chat, hello, Elizabeth, Nick, Geotirma. I'm going to get your name eventually. Thank you so much for the tropical gifts, Andrea. It's putting us in the right vibe and the right, the right place. Nina, I see that you're wearing your tie-dye shirt today.
I am,
You
yes,
did it.
just for you guys.
It felt right, yeah.
Yeah, I just made it this weekend, like not even knowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, not knowing the challenge this week.
It's perfect. It's super fun.
Yeah.
It feels like it's one of those like designer things you'd find in like a hip LA store for like $900.
Yep. But it's really an old sweatshirt.
Yep, that's I feel like that's the zone, is like baller on a budget. Like,
yep.
One like
I like
bougie,
to spend my money in other ways.
Exactly. Yes, Chipotle.
We don't have it in Hawaii.
Oh no! I'll bring
Please,
you some Chipotle.
Come to Hawaii.
Yes, I'll bring you some Chipotle on my next trip out there. Just
perfect.
A cold
Thank you.
bowl of Chipotle.
I'll take it. It's that good.
Oh gosh. All right. So today we are working on that quiz that we mentioned. Nina, where can people find you if they want to engage? Tell us a little bit about you, actually, if people were not on the stream yesterday.
Sure. My name is Nina Hans. I'm from Hawaii and currently live in Hawaii as well. We have a design studio, my husband and I, he's my business partner, called Weekday Studio. We have offices in LA and Hawaii, and we specialize in brand identity specifically. So, brands come to us with an idea and we try to bring it to life and help their customers fall in love with them.
Rad. So you can find her at Weekday Studio, weekdaystudio.com, weekday_studio on social medias. Here is all our info over there somewhere. I'll never get the hang of pointing. Yeah, it's all around us. Can you tell us actually the story of the mark that you have? It's floating here in between us, and I thought it was an interesting story yesterday.
So it's called which represents half sun, half rainbow. So you see the rays. I can't see it right now, but I'm assuming y'all see the rays, yes, and then the rainbow. And basically because, we're based in California and Hawaii, and it's very much so just like a part of kind of our culture as a business and our culture as individuals, the California-Hawaii vibe. So that's kind of what it came from. And yes, I just played with rainbows and suns and trying to figure out how to simplify them and make them into just like an iconic looking thing, which became what we now call the sunbow.
Super fun. And real quick announcement, I have a couple things before we hop in today. One is, if you're watching this and you're looking around like at your screen and there's a bunch of like red stuff and there's not any blue stuff, you're probably in the wrong place. You're watching this on YouTube. We love YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Hello, red icons around us. But come over to Behance, where everything's blue, but not in a sad way. Coming out, our chat is here. We have Mark Bowden. He's really cool. He's in Bermuda. Don't you want to be his friend? Come on over. Behance.net/live and click through to chat. Say hello. Leave us a red heart in chat if you're coming over from YouTube, and join us in that chat. One more thing, Nina, again, this is my favorite part of the day. We're going to show people where they can get involved, and the place to do that is to go here, up above us, floating in the sky, bit.ly/AI Discord. I like that neither of us can do the fingers without the neck as well. Like, it has to be the full movement.
It's a whole vibe.
Yes. You can go to bit.ly/AI Discord, and in there, people are posting all of of their projects that we've been working on. We just finished the Daily Creative Challenge, so go and check that out. And Nina, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. Did you get your proposal idea in for our Adobe Creative Residency Fund?
I did not. I had a slam day yesterday. Honestly, I haven't felt like I even had much time to think about this yet.
Yes.
But I did mention it to my husband, and we are planning on doing it. We're very, very excited about it.
Yes. So I'm going to split our screens. Oh, there's my control panel that you guys can see now. It's live. So this is the page for the Creative Residency Community Fund. Adobe is all about investing in the creative community. And like Nina said, you can apply for a funded project anywhere from $500 to $5,000. Or you can apply for an Adobe project commission from $500 to $5,000. Adobe has set aside $1 million to invest back into the creative community. So you can go there. One of our mods, Voodoo Val, I think, will drop that into chat so you can check it out. And Nina, your screen's floating over on the other side, and I think we can take it away and hop right in.
All right. Where should we start today? So let's give everyone a review of where we were yesterday.
Yes, let's do that.
So we started off just kind of creating the vibe via a homepage of a site. So we started off with kind of creating this word mark, playing with the typefaces, the colors, the photography that's obviously giving you this Hawaii laid back vibes, some illustrations, kind of scan down here. There'll be a little shop where people can buy local souvenirs to take you directly out to these individual sites, a little Instagram feed, a subscribe, and a footer. And then here you'll kind of see how we started playing with choosing the buttons we liked, the arrows we like, the color palette. We played a little bit with how type would come out in different ways. So we talked about making this into a towel today, hopefully, right? And so really we're just kind of playing with how does this all work together? What do we like? What's working? How can we refine a couple of these things today? And then we'll start to try to play with it on some other parts of the site, so the quiz specifically. And then we're going to try to apply it to some other things, and in that learn, what we like and what we might want to change along the way.
Super fun. So we're going to embark on that journey together today. So stay tuned and keep watching, chat. Just hang out, say hello. Let us know where you're watching from. Nina, you are in Hawaii. I am in Riverside, California, just outside of LA. So we are across the world. I've seen people from New Zealand, Australia. There's some friends in, I believe, Tokyo, which is really cool. So it's good to see you all here. Let me know how the audio is. We've got some vibes going on. And I think that the summation, we talked about this yesterday, for this stream both days is just a vibe check. Like, I think we're just vibe checking the entire time.
The entire time. Holler if you see anything in the chat that you want to add into our vibe, just let us know.
Yes, and let us know what your vibe is currently. Yeah, I'm in like what vibe am I in? I'm in I woke up and I had gotten donuts last night, and I just had like a donut on the counter this morning, and my vibe was just like I rolled downstairs and like took a bite of a donut and then like made some coffee and then like got up, put on my makeup for the stream, and then I've just been chilling here. We've just been partying. It's a chill vibe today.
Nice, glad to hear it. It's a couple hours earlier here, so
oh, that's true.
I'm still, I haven't done much yet today.
Ooh, from the south of France. Wow.
Ooh, jealous.
All right, so we talked yesterday about, we picked out this type and we were going to customize it a little bit today, kind of wiggle it around. Is that where we're going to start today?
Yeah, I think so. So I think the main thing I want to do here is, you see how this E and this L don't kind of like smooth out to each other?
Yes.
So I kind of just want to go in and play with seeing how we can smooth that out. So we talked a little bit about this curvature tool.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
I haven't played with much, but we're going to give it a try. So I don't honestly know, so I'm not giving anyone a tutorial here. We're going to literally just try. I think the way that it works in comparison to the pen tool is you don't round things, like you don't put two dots and then just round things. So in comparison to doing la da 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 and then pulling it out and it's still hard, right? Like, and then you have to go in and round it. It just instantly rounds it, right? So let's get into the right one. We go here, and then so as you drop, you can pull and round as a whole.
What?
Right? So super cool versus like, I would do things like this, play with the corners.
Oh, that's all that I do.
And then right? So I'm excited actually to play with this thing more because I just learned about it and haven't got to do much with it. But so what I was thinking is kind of starting in, actually, let's lock this. Make sure we're grouped, and then let's find our layer. Let's lock them. So I think it might be as simple as just figuring out how we want it to come out. So like that, alone, pretty simple. It's looking pretty good. We probably want to move, what are these called? Do you know,
Terminals?
Andrew? Terminals. This is what happens when you get to go to school. You learn proper words.
I love that, like, in my brain, it's like, okay, cool. Like, it's going to customize type. Like, we're going to have to do this, and it's going to be crazy and, like, line everything up. And then you get, like, one line in,
and you try the curvature, and you're like,
it happened.
Yeah. That's what's so crazy about this tool. I'm, like, thinking how much time I've wasted. It's been out for a few years, and I haven't tried it. How much time I've wasted not playing with it. But I just didn't even know it existed until a couple days ago.
That's right. Chat, let me know if you want to cover the curvature tool in one of our daily creative challenges coming up. We have a whole bunch coming up in a few weeks with me. So if you want to learn about curvature tool, let me know. Or if there's any other tools in Illustrator you'd like to know, let me know. I'll make a note of it, and we'll do a fun little lesson on it. Our next theme is baking. We're currently in space, and we will be doing a baking show for the next set of daily creative challenges, which I can't bake.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Have you seen that Netflix show about, like, it's kind of like Pinterest fails of baking?
Oh, yes. Nailed it?
Nailed it.
Yes, it's so entertaining.
I love that show. I feel like that's the cooking show I've been waiting for.
It's true, because I'm like, I can do these things. I can make that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It, like, makes you feel hopeful, like, if that, instead of looking at the original.
Yeah.
So this is where I think, like, I could sit here all day not knowing how to use this tool and figure out the tell me the name of it again.
The terminal?
The terminal.
Yes.
Like, the terminal's feeling really, I think I might need another point at the bottom maybe. But the L itself.
The transition between the E and the L is perfect.
It's perfect. But this terminal, I feel like when it gets small is when it, like, I'm not so sold on it,
Yeah.
Do you have any suggestions for me?
I mean, maybe even just pen tooling it. I would make sure that, like, the line coming in from the bottom swoop of the L is like tracking.
To be rounder.
Oh yeah, actually, that could be interesting.
Yeah.
And then moving it up to the left a little bit more, like that whole.
Because this looks so
terminal.
thick, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe
that's
it
like
needs to be longer.
Pretty close to vibing for me. Yeah, I'm not mad about it.
Yeah.
That's so much of design. Do you love it? I'm not mad about it.
I'm not mad about it. Yeah. I mean, I could see myself still playing more, but I think for the sake of let's play with other things, I'm not mad about it either.
Yep. It's
for
funny.
Now,
somebody said in chat, they've looked at the L too much now, and now they're just seeing it as an E. And that totally happens.
Oh my
like,
gosh, yes.
You, like, start looking at a letter too much, and you're just like, well, now I can't unsee it. Like, I can't kern it because I don't see letters anymore.
Right. Okay, so let's pull. Let's just make sure. Let's release it. Oh, that's why. It's a compound path.
Command 8. Yeah. Look at those hotkeys.
Yeah, don't know them, man. Just going to sit here till I get it. All right. But I still haven't looked up that thing you told me about, but I wrote it on my list of things to do.
As a good host, as you work, I'll be doing that in the background, finding you a good keyboard shortcut.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Little cover.
I'm assuming it matters what keyboard I have, right?
Oh, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, so just like the small Mac one, the iMac one, that's the short one, not the long one.
Okay.
Thank you. Can you just be a part of my life in general while I'm working?
Yes,
Just helping me?
Yes, anytime you're doing anything, we'll be live streaming it, and I'll be doing all the things in the background to help you.
I just mean
with
like in
whatever you
real
need.
life though. Like,
yeah.
can you just like, I just need someone to be like, hey, I need this thing.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm not demeaning your skill set, don't get me wrong.
I need a person to just do my bidding. That's me.
It's just like really fun to have someone to help you along the way.
Right? It is great. It's great when I'm on the other side of this and I'm doing like what you're doing, and then there's someone else that I'm like, oh, it's kind of nice to just be able to toss stuff out there.
100%.
Like we have our friend Voodoo Val in chat, who is our mod. Hey Val, can you drop Nina's website link so that people can follow her? Like it's that easy.
Amazing. Okay, so one other thing I just realized is like we say plan your perfect Hawaiian getaway, but then we don't really tell you how really. So like we say the how that works it down like below the fold,
Yep.
right? But we don't say it above it. So I'm gonna add something in there. How do we spell questionnaire?
Q-U-E.
I put Q-U-E-S-T-I-O-N-N-A-R-E. Maybe just one N.
Q-E-S-T-I-O-N-N-A-I-R-E.
Okay, yeah. I think I got it right.
Yes.
Okay, I actually moved this down for my screen share thing.
I need to make a setup that is just the emergency things of like, here's my control center, here's a spelling window, here's a links window. Full control center.
See your free personalized recommendations.
Yes. So for those that are just joining, Manuel, who's asking, we are designing a questionnaire, a quiz, a website to help people discover their dream Hawaiian vacation, based not on Yelp or anything like that, but creating and taking from the locals of what they love and supporting local business. So we're kind of playing around, exploring with this brand, exploring what we can make it look like, how it can function, and we're just vibing today. So come vibe with us.
All right, so definitely feeling better about why. We still haven't spelled personalized, right? I can see.
Personalized.
There we go.
Yep. And another hotkey for you, Command I will run spell check for you. That is
this one I actually
lifesaver.
know, but
yeah.
I never seem to use it. I still do it the hard way.
Yep, 100. It's just like the muscle memory of like, oh, I know where to click for it, and I also know how to do it faster, but I'm not going to.
100%. Okay, so one thing I was thinking, we started talking about the gradients at the end of yesterday, and then we didn't get to kind of go too far with that.
Oh, that's true.
I was thinking about what if we put into a gradient into our footer here.
Oh yeah, yes, I agree, because the footer does feel like really bright, of having something that like gives it a little more of sizzle.
Yeah, and like maybe more of a slow transition, right? Like versus like the harshness of like a kind of standard footer. What am I doing here?
That's it.
Hello. Yeah, I feel like it just feels generic. My mouse is kind of wigging out a little bit on us here. Okay, so what if we start with white so that other way. Let's flip them. So that we kind of transition into the footer in a more subtle way is what I was thinking. Let's get rid of this gray. We can probably do that just by slapping these guys above this layer for now.
Ooh,
so it's something that just feels,
it feels beachy.
Less, more like we were talking about this yesterday and kind of feeling that vibes more.
Yep, and it almost matches what's happening with the wave image above, just in like a fun graphic way.
Yeah. And I mean, the fun thing, like I always look at these things up, you always look at them up close, but this is how you're actually experiencing them, right?
Yep.
One at a time. So I think that's important too, to like zoom in and zoom out and think about how they're being experienced as you go.
Yep.
All right, so feeling okay about these things. Feeling like it's tight enough. There would be tons of refinements, but tight enough for us to move on and try to start testing them on some other things.
Yep. And what are the fonts we're using? Sorry, one more time.
Would we do some Mabry?
Yes.
Mabry by
Yes.
Colophon. And so far we've just been using it in medium and I believe in regular. And that's kind of been working for us so far. We'll see as we keep going if we want to change it. But yeah, that's kind of been the vibe. So we talked about this towel. You sent me over this smart.
Yes. And so this is just from Adobe Stock. We talked a little bit yesterday about the power of getting mockups from Adobe Stock. This is all built out for us. So we're going to drop our art in here, and it is going to put it onto that photorealistic towel, which is going to be super fun.
So all I just did was figure out what the size of the mockup is.
Mm-hmm.
And then because we made this before we got the mockup, so now we're going to have to kind of just rescale a little bit, reposition a little bit to make it actually fit perfectly within our towel. And did you see, it looks like it opens vertically, but the towel kind of feels like it's horizontal with a tilt, right?
Yep.
So let's try a few. So what often with this kind of thing, like I'll make like 3 or 4 and then put them into the mock-up and see really which one, even in the context of the mock-up, feels the best,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna make a couple here.
Ooh, we might need to add more little floatios.
Oh yeah. I want to make one stretched, right?
Oh,
like
yeah.
I think we actually started that way. And then we kind of were like, oh, maybe we can tighten it up.
Yep.
Once. But I think it would be a good idea to pull one out.
I feel like Floatios is a really great cereal name.
Floatios.
Yeah, it's like the generic brand of like Fruit Loops. They're just like,
or the generic Cheerio.
Floaty. Yes. Floatios. I don't know what they're made of, but they float in your milk. Floatios.
Right. Okay, so for now, just to do a quick version, we're just going to literally copy and paste them. I think if we were to like this one in the long run, I'm just going to flip him just to give him some variance.
Yep.
I would probably, make them more variable than they are right now. But for now, I think we'll just do this. Okay. And then I was thinking I would kind of want to try some without, we can play with the background, like what it'll look like. Sometimes I think in mockups, like it looks better to keep the natural background. So when we open this up, there is no background, right? So They're almost wanting you to use the white as the background. So we'll try that. But sometimes I've also found that I've been able to get away, even with those kind of mockups that have no background, with putting something behind it. So I was thinking it might be fun and kind of meta to have like a beach behind it,
Ooh, like a beach towel, but like an actual beach towel. That's really fun.
Right?
Hashem, can you teach? Yes, Hashem, we can. Just go ahead and actually tweet us your Behance profile, or use the tag on Instagram or here on Behance, and use the hashtag Adobe Office Hours. So hashtag Adobe Office Hours, and we will be reviewing those tomorrow at 1:00. So you can come back and maybe get your portfolio reviewed then. The beach towel.
I kind of want to try this sand image we had found too.
Ooh. I wonder if they make a beach towel that is just sand. So like when you put it down, it just disappears.
100%. That feels
so fun.
I just did a puzzle of a puzzle. So it's like a photograph of someone doing a puzzle. It's awesome. Our friends actually designed it, and it was the hardest puzzle I'd ever done, but also definitely the funnest puzzle I'd ever done.
I saw Pantone put one out that was just like whatever the Pantone color of the year was, and it was all the same one.
Oh, solid?
Yeah, it was just a solid puzzle. I'm like, no.
That would drive me mad.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't. Even after doing that one I just completed, I was like, I think that's about as hard of a puzzle as I can handle. It was hard.
Yep. Have you ever done one of those 3D puzzles that like builds a thing?
when I was Googling puzzles, I saw those, but I
Yeah.
haven't.
I had
They're
a
a
friend
little
who just
expensive.
I had a friend who finished one that was Hogwarts, and it was so cool. You like build each like tower individually and then put it together, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's Hogwarts.
That's awesome. I need to look that up for my niece. She would love that. All right, so I'm just going to start dropping some in here and just seeing, I don't know, it might look silly, might look cool, you know.
So what's happening is someone else who is neither of us, the assistant to the streamer, has created this great mock-up for us that does all the work for us. All we need to do is drop in our artwork, it does all the wiggles and bumps and everything that we want. Fun.
All right. Pretty fun. So I always do this where, you know, once you have a smart object, you can only, if I put a new one in, it'll replace this one, you know, so I always drag it out. Do you have a better way?
To do what?
So like if I'm gonna make another, so then I want to try this one, let's say. If I just like, if I copy and paste this, right,
we'll
then
update that.
It'll update this other one.
Yeah.
Any suggestions?
What I usually just
so what I do is
versions.
I just open it. Yeah, so that's what I'll do too.
Yep, I totally do the same thing.
But what I'd love though is to be able to just toggle them all on and off, on and off, on and off, and just see them. But there's no way, right?
I don't think so.
That you know of.
Yeah, okay. Not that I know. Well, what I will do sometimes is I will hit. I don't even know where it is in the menus, but it's Control Command Shift E. On your layers, and it will make a rasterized version of whatever's on the screen, like on top. So it'll make a new layer that's like merged down everything, and then I'll just toggle that on and off.
I almost wonder in that, so what if it's, I think what you're saying is if we duplicated this one and then merged it, right? Merged this one?
Oh yeah, maybe that would work.
Let's try. Oh no, it's gonna put it in there.
Yeah, so click on the top one. And then Command Shift Option E, I think it is.
Shift Option E.
There we go. So it compresses everything. So now
it.
You have that layer there, and then you can just build with the other ones.
Yep, that's exactly what I need.
Sweet.
Okay, we're gonna try this other one. Flip it to the direction that it's sitting on the beach.
Aloha.
It's fun to get to work with other people and learn the way they do things, and then, you know, always learn from them.
Yep.
But it would also just be fun, like if we all, I mean, there's probably something like this. If you just like we're on headphones with each other all day, and every time you have a question, you share a screen and you show other people where you're working on, like I just did with you, and you told me how to do it, right?
It looks like there are two smart objects, two smart layers. Yeah.
That's what's going on. I thought that looked
Rad.
Very high contrast. Okay, so then to save this one, I'm going to do Option Shift Control E.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to turn that one off. Oh, it doesn't look like it actually did it. Say the option.
Command Option Shift E.
Oh, Command Option Shift E.
There you go.
All right.
And I think that the top one may have had the double layers on as well.
Oh, shoot.
So it looked super contrasty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the workaround from saving a bunch of different files.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I liked this one more anyway, so I'm actually not going to worry about it. Okay, cool. Then let's just do one plain one, and then we'll move on from there.
Sweet.
So let's try this one. Actually, I'm going to get rid of our line because we don't actually need him.
I think that I'm going to put designing a towel on my design bucket list. It's such a fun thing to do. So my number one thing, I want to wrap a plane. I want to design a wrap for a plane.
Our friends did that for for Hawaiian Airlines.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's a cool project. Yeah.
I had Southwest has this one plane. and it's the flag of Maryland, but like designed and wrapped around a plane. And I just, for some reason, love plane wraps. And so I like see all their different planes they have or whatever. And I was traveling somewhere and got off the plane. And then the terminal next to me was like the Maryland flag plane. And I cried. I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, I get to see it in person. Like I fly so much and I've never seen it. And I finally got to see it in person. It was magic.
You might be the only person I know that cries as much as me.
That's true. I just get excited and my body
I do
doesn't know what to
too.
do. And it just shuts down, just cry.
I'm the same way. People are like, are you okay? And I'm like, I mean, obviously I cry when I'm sad, but I also very much still cry when I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I went to go see Paddington 2, which is the best movie that's ever been made. And I went to the like midnight, like the night before opening. And I'm like, no one's going to be here. It's like a kid's movie at like 11 o'clock at night. And so I literally was the only person in the theater. And I was like, I don't care. I'm so excited. And so I went in and like 3 minutes into this movie, I am a sobbing mess alone in the theater, just like crying because I'm so happy and it's like sad and all this stuff. And the person like walks in to check the door. You know how like the like attendant walks in every now and then in the movie theater?
Sure.
So he walks in. And I'm like sobbing, like loud. And he walks and checks the door. And then he walks back and he stops and he's like, hey, you okay, man? Like in the middle of the movie.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, yes, get out of here. Go away. Just leave me alone.
Wait, I missed the part. Were you alone?
I was alone. I was the only person in the theater. It was just me and him.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So I didn't ask your opinion there because I didn't want to interrupt your story, but I felt like I liked this one over the white one.
Yeah, it's weird. The white one feels like touristy, and then the other one feels like cool.
It feels a little Walmart, maybe.
It does feel a little Walmart.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, all right. So for now, we're gonna move on from here. Cool. So I just set it right here, just as our reference for the future. I'm gonna save these as I always do. Just kind of move them.
Yep.
All right, let's maybe start our quiz.
Let's do it. Let's start a quiz.
All right, so let's just make some new little 1920 by 1080s. Let's see here. I think the quiz, like the only thing we have to really bring over is the nav and the logo. And I'm gonna bring these out so we can keep this all on white.
Yeah, I know people that will work just on that outside of the artboards on the gray, and I'm like, oh,
I'm
so stressed. Oh,
I do, man. I do it all the time, but I'm just thinking, I don't want to put everyone through that.
Yep. I set my like entire workspace to be white so that I can just work anywhere and like not lose my mind.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Man, the type hierarchy looks really good. We were like unsure of it yesterday, and it like really locked in seeing it after some sleep. There.
Yeah. Okay, so you're coming to Hawaii. What's the first thing? I think usually when I ask people, so I do have a lot of experience in this because, like I said yesterday, everybody asks me. Like I lived in LA for 13 years, such a common place for people to go. So they ask, someone from there, and I always start with, well, do you know what island you're going to? Because that's going to make a huge difference. The islands are so vastly different from each other.
Oh yeah.
So if you don't know, that's fine. We'll help you pick. If you do know, then we're only going to curate things to that island, right?
Yep.
So I think that should be our first question. So I went on Adobe Stock this morning. I grabbed just my islands because I don't really feel like I need to redesign those.
Yep. They're pretty set, I think.
Pretty set.
Well, then again, they are probably the most changing like state of anything.
Definitely the most changing state. The Big Island where I'm from has changed dramatically actually with the volcano that was erupting for the past, 2.5 years.
Yep. I was there right after that happened.
Right when it stopped.
Yeah, and like driving on roads that had just been paved that like you could see just like the lava flow that had just run over whatever this road was.
Yep.
And we were over in Kona and then drove across to the other side and just, you drive over and you're like, here is where lava was.
Yep. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the side of the island I'm from. It's the lava side.
Oh, rad.
So it was a really big deal. I'd say maybe I don't know, I know personally like 5 people who lost their homes
Oh, wow.
to the lava. It was a very, very devastating on the community. Okay, we're gonna move these. So all I'm gonna do is kind of like go in here, change the color. So not all of these islands you can actually go to, right? So I'm just gonna pick gray them out, right?
Sorry, islands.
You can't go to those. So we're gonna just choose kind of some colors for the primary ones, and only the ones that people can go to. What? So you went to the Big Island. Where else did you go?
We just went from Hilo to Kona. Is that
Okay,
the
yep.
one side to the other side?
Yep.
Yeah, so we did that. We did zip lining. We went snorkeling there. We went to Kona Brewing, which was like, oh my, that's one of those places that's like, maybe this is a touristy thing, but it like feels local.
It's both.
Yep.
I think everyone loves it. Like that was something I would do. We still do that almost every time I go home. That like pizza and a salad and a beer for $7.
Pizza,
like,
yes.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yes, and we went and did karaoke one night, which was my favorite thing. We just found some random bar and we're like, let's go sing karaoke all night. And it was just locals hanging out and we were screaming at the top of our lungs. And we did like a pub trivia at a bar another night and just found random people and we're like, be on our team. And we played trivia and yeah, it was fun.
That's awesome. So fun. Okay.
A little bit of everything.
Awesome. But yeah, so only the Big Island though.
Yeah, so I've been to Big Island, I've been to Oahu, and I've been to Maui, but on like different trips.
Okay. Yeah, the Big Island is not the most common one and one of my favorites, obviously, growing up there. So I love hearing when people do go.
It feels like there's stuff to discover there, whereas when I've gone to like Maui, it's just like, yeah, it's like the idea of Hawaii that you have. I feel like the Big Island's like, oh, this is like, I can like go and like discover stuff.
Yeah, so I would say both. I said you probably didn't discover the things you can discover in Maui, though, because Maui is just so much more touristy.
Yep.
So you can kind of just do the things, right? But there is quite a bit of things you probably haven't seen yet. And but the Big Island is like, we wrote that fun fact yesterday. The Big Island has 10 of the world's 14 climates, which I haven't double checked, but it's something like that. That's cool. The crazy thing is like, you can surf, snowboard, and skate all in one day on the Big Island. You can, see lava, you can see snow, you can it's just insane. Like there's just no place like it in the world. And because it's not very touristy, it feels, very, like you're, like you said, like you're discovering something there because it's so mellow.
Yep. The Big Island has 11 of the world's 13 climate zones.
There you go.
That's crazy.
Let's go ahead and update our stat.
Oh, yeah.
Feels like that's an important one that I should know growing up there.
If you were just joining us, hello in chat. We are building a quiz to help you plan your dream trip to Hawaii. And we're just getting started here on building out the actual quiz, starting with that call to action, getting people into it. Where are you going? Starting to take them on a journey because now we've established the colors, the type hierarchy, all that stuff. So we're starting to begin taking them on that journey.
So I think what I'm going to do for now on this, as I'm playing with it, is I think the way that this would actually function is that you would hover, right? So I'm not going to put a description of each one here. I'm going to imagine this is our hover, and this is a description if you have hovered, right? And at any point you could click in, right? So for now, we're just going to leave this as, our pseudo imagine you have hovered. And then I'm just going to figure out, kind of going back to our buttons from yesterday, what it looks like to kind of push the button and move on to the next step. So I think on this first one, we don't need to go back because this is the very first part of the quiz, but we would need something that says continue, right? So I'm gonna imagine that there is a back button because in all the future ones, there will be.
Yep.
But even though in this first one, there will not.
And so you're designing for basically the system of like, okay, cool. What will be happening, even though we don't need it now, we need to be answering that question that will be coming up in the future.
Correct. So, you learn those things along the way as well. However, not bad to start to think about them ahead of time. That was another thing I thought about using the way we talked about yesterday in making the buttons is when I used to do the old way of capping them, you know, you couldn't just drag things like that. It would warp, right? So that's another benefit to doing it this way. So let's pretend that this goes here, just so we can decide what it looks like. This is really tight, though, actually, now that we think about it, if we think about it, like this might not actually be here because you won't be hovering at the time. I feel like this could be a little bigger.
Yes, and in just under an hour, thank you, Voodoo Val. In just under an hour, we will be doing the challenge reviews. So make sure you click on the challenge tab floating above the chat and submit your daily creative challenges.
I'm excited about what you said you guys were working on today.
Oh yeah, today we did. What did we do today? It literally just happened and I've forgotten. Today we played with warps. We played with envelope distorts. And made some really wonky type that looked like it was getting sucked into a black hole.
Awesome.
So we'll see super weird stuff today, hopefully.
Okay, so for now, I'm going to move on to my next one. So I think I'm not going to worry so much about the order right now, because I think all I'm trying to do is like, what is the different types of functions?
Yep.
So one important question I think that we're considering doing is, what is your budget? Because man, Hawaii can get real expensive.
Yep.
But we don't want to isolate people and have them feel like, if I don't have $5,000 to spend on 3 days in Hawaii and I only have, $800, what can I do?
Yep.
So I think that's really important to
lots of pizza
for us
and beer.
to be able to make the recommendations, like the Kona Brewing Co.
Yep.
$7 lunch. It's so great. So I think I'm going to do a little kind of slider where people can grab this and go whoop along the way.
It's fun because the colors you've established are really starting to come to life now, to give it that extra level.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I think I'm excited to see, so limited that we're going to be able to really accomplish today as far as all the different things that we can do with this site. But I'm just excited to see what keeps happening and how we actually hopefully get to launch this thing this summer.
Endless possibilities.
And maybe with the help of an Adobe grant.
Right? That is cool that they're investing back into the community, and instead of having a bunch of creative residents, that it's like, we're all creative residents. I
think that's awesome. I even had seen at the beginning of everything going on with COVID that it was like, correct me if I'm wrong, something like they were giving students or something like that free.
They extended, I think it was a 60-day extension for students. And they have given us on our office hours show that happens every Friday. We do portfolio reviews for students and really for anyone. But they've given us a bunch of Creative Cloud subscriptions to give away as giveaways to help people who are maybe working on their portfolios that need some extra. They're definitely reinvesting into the creative community, which is fun to see. I remember I went to Max last year, and they were running promos that was like creativity for all, and it's cool to see that actually running out now, that it's like, oh, they really are trying to bring creativity to all.
Yeah, that's awesome. Exciting to see how they're doing that.
All right,
I think Creative Cloud has really helped with that, because previously when we weren't able to just get updates, it felt hard to get a new version of everything.
Yep.
Right, all the time as a student or as a younger person. So I think Creative Cloud is such an awesome solution to all of this.
Yep.
So I think just as you slide, right? So if you started here, this would be the pink one. As you slide down to here, this would become pink, right? Just letting us know where you are.
Perfect.
So yeah, I think we're just keeping these super basic, but fun to play with and very bold, right?
And it's that simple that people are like, oh, simple, it must be easy, but it's refined. It's like, cool, here's the one thing. All right, we're moving on to the next thing. It's very guided. And I feel like I'm like, oh, they know what they're talking about.
Yeah. I do think that we talk a lot about how do we build trust with customers. And I think that simple little things like how sticky a movement is, or spelling. So many of those things build trust with the client or with the potential customer in this case, right? Like, okay, so I'm going to try another type of situation just so we have another look and feel. I think we're going to do, how do you want to get around?
Oh, yeah.
So,
oh, my goodness. Ubers are so expensive. I took an Uber from the airport, which you can't get an Uber from the airport. So I had to walk like away from the airport to get an Uber. They wouldn't let Uber come to like pick up at the airport. So I had to like walk like down the road to like another little area to get an Uber pickup. But then we rented a vehicle and they were out of vehicles. They're like, oh man, we don't have anything. So like, can we give you this Jeep convertible? And I was like, yes. And so we drove around in like this rad Jeep convertible for the weekend. It was awesome.
Nice. Okay. So I think that there's kind of the primary ways to get around of trying to decide how I want these to look. I might just kind of make them look like the buttons, but outlined. Actually, maybe these buttons were the ones we ended up using, right?
Yes.
Okay. So there's, and let me think about this. So there's public transit, which is better on certain islands than others. So that actually maybe kind of helps me understand also, I think, what island they should go to, right?
Yep.
So if that's like really important to them, the answer might be Oahu. If that's important.
Yep. And maybe these could filter in based on what island they're going to, right? If they select that at the beginning,
100%.
that it's like, cool, you can't Uber on some of these or whatever, that it's like, it's not going to be an option, that it like sorts through that for us, which could be really cool.
Yep. 100%. Share.
And I just want to book my trip to Hawaii now. That's all that I want to do is like a good like November Hawaii trip.
That's my birthday. That's when I lived in LA, I would always come back to Hawaii in November. It's a really cheap time to come to Hawaii.
Well, how about that? And it's funny because people are like, oh, it's like going to be rainy and whatever. And I was like, that's what I want. I want to sit on the beach and have it like rain on me and be like a little cold. Like I want to be in a hoodie and just like on the beach in the rain like that. I don't want the whole like bathing suit, whatever. I love just being in the zone.
That's funny. I haven't heard many people feel that way about coming to Hawaii.
Yeah. I did the same thing in Australia. I went and it rained every day and I was so happy.
Nice. Okay. So let's say someone clicks onto rental, right? That's the one that they've decided. Yep. I think we're going to have like some sort of drop down here that will say, car versus van versus motorcycle. The reason being is that how you spell motorcycle?
Yes.
Like literal,
yes.
Motorcycle.
The
reason being is these are all different rental companies, right? So you don't rent a motorcycle at Hertz, right? But you rent a car from Hertz. Even vans, there's specific van companies. So I think on all of these, we're going to have some sort of drop down because what it's going to do is help us know, all right, here's your three options. You know, if this is, and there's even like exotic cars, actually. Let's maybe put that.
Ooh, yes, that was a big thing.
There's a lot of people driving around these crazy cars. And I think it's like a little bit of this like, fantasy vacation thing. Like you would maybe never buy that kind of car in your real life, but you come here and you drive this, Maserati, or there's all these like cars that are like Jurassic Park looking that like, I can't even believe they're legal on the road, you know, that kind of thing. So maybe something like that. And so maybe when you hover this, let's see, maybe we'll make it white. Yeah. So I'm gonna just do one, right? To show the basic gist of what would happen if you hover down on this thing. Feel pretty okay with that. Maybe we'll fill this in and show what that could look like.
A little boop.
Do we want it gradient or do we want it solid?
Solid.
Right. Agreed. Align this little guy.
I do, when people are like, oh, that's the active state, I really want to just be like, it's booped. You have booped
It's booped.
It is a
We
booped
booped
button.
it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's booped.
Oh, Paul dropping some emojis of like, is that a go-kart? Well, I guess it could be like a race car. Or maybe it's an exotic car. It's very far away from me on my monitor screen.
Ooh.
It looks like a little dot car. It looks like a Mario Kart, actually. That's how I want to get around.
I just illustrated a car yesterday for, we're making a bunch of stickers for Snapchat right now.
Oh, fun.
And I illustrated a little car that has like a face, you know.
Oh.
It's very cute. All right, I feel okay about this. Yep. I'm not sold on this exact gradient. This was a gradient I think we had left over from yesterday when we were starting to play with the gradients.
That purple goes really well with like the salmon we have everywhere else.
Yeah, it feels very, let's just see this one. And no, I kind of like where we were maybe. Ooh, I kind of like that.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that one?
That's cool.
Yeah, okay. Let's maybe move on from there. Now it kind of makes me want these to be gradient.
Oh, es posible. Feels slidey.
Maybe this should be black though?
Yes.
Oh, what if this was, I don't know. I mean, I don't know this kind of animation thing. What if this was gradient and as this thing moved.
Oh, it changed color?
It changed color to where you were like currently at.
That's a fun idea.
So let's pretend we know how to do that.
That's great.
So then this right here would be that pink, right?
Yep.
And then the color would slide to green if you were over here, and this would become green.
Yep.
Right?
Yep, super fun. Because, yeah, it's green. It's like, oh, how much green do you have? Oh, a lot?
A lot? Yeah. FU money?
A few money.
Okay. All right. So I guess, so then the one other kind of questions, which maybe we'll use this kind of system, is we're kind of running out of space here. Let's pull these out. Let's ungroup these. Go back. Bump you. So I think the other kind of things are like down to like the actual thing. So let's say someone says they want to go on do water activities, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's the specific one in Hawaii that there's like, I can't even count, right? Like how many types of water activities.
Yep.
So especially for people who are like interested, for people who like don't necessarily have the skill sets yet, like a lot of these things are like really common that you get like lessons yep.
For like surfing class or whatever.
Yeah, stand-up paddle boarding. Yep. Let's fill in some of these. Let's see. So
manta
kayaking.
rays. Oh yes, kayaking.
Kayaking. Yeah, you said you swam with manta rays, right?
I did.
Sailing, snorkeling.
I actually had my mustache that I have when I went to Hawaii, and I couldn't get the mask to suction to my face because of my mustache, and I had to shave to go snorkeling. I was like, all right, that's
no
it.
Way.
My mustache is gone. And I went back to the room and just shaved it up because I was like, that's what I have to do to snorkel. Let's do it.
That's hilarious. I put snorkeling.
Oh, yeah, snorkeling.
Snorkeling.
Yeah, it's an activity.
Snorkeling, jet skiing. That's like a pretty popular thing here. Jet skiing.
Yep, Paul said jet skiing. Got it.
Okay. What else? Any other fantasies for people wanting to come to Hawaii?
Oh, what about what is it? Parasailing or
parasailing?
What's the thing behind
I guess
the
that's
boat?
Not quite.
That's not really water.
Yeah, I mean, we could put it. Paragliding. Is that what it's called?
I think it's parasailing. Let me look.
Okay. I think there's parasailing and paragliding.
Okay, parasailing is behind the boat.
Okay.
Paragliding is in the air with like one of those like V-shaped things where like you jump off the mountain.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, we definitely have those here.
Oh my goodness, paragliding looks so scary. Like there's people that have just jumped off of cliffs that like, I have a wing, I guess I'll make it.
Yeah. Waterfall hike.
Waterfalls.
And then, so the basic idea, right, is to just make this super simple. So you could select as many as you want. You could say, you know, I want to surf, I want to sail, and I want to kayak. And then based on the other questions, we've kind of already narrowed down kind of fishing. We've kind of narrowed down like what island you're going to go to or whatnot, right? So then from there, it's really easy for us to just populate, 10 options for you. And I think at the end, it would almost be like little card, like the answers would be delivered to you in little cards, and you can almost star the ones and create your itinerary from there.
This feels like this screen, like what like Twitter and like Pinterest have when like you sign up, that it's like, tell us some things you're interested in. That like this is that perfect, like just give us information and then we'll synthesize it and like present options.
Yes, it's actually, I'm sure the reference without me even knowing it in my head.
Yep.
What else? Anything else?
Oh,
stand-up paddleboarding.
Yes.
I don't know if that's like
day drinking. I feel like you do that in the water. Just sitting in the
pool.
Actually,
it is illegal here to drink on the beach or in the ocean, but it doesn't mean people don't do it. But I'm not going to promote it.
Yes. Well, you can do that at the beach. Not at the beach. Do it at the pool.
At the pool.
Yes.
Yeah. Do it at your hotel.
Yeah. Sit in the bathtub, have a glass of wine, and don't take it to the beach.
Yes. All right. So I'm going to select a bunch of these. We can definitely go in here and clean all these up, obviously, but for now.
Oh, what about scuba?
Oh, scuba!
I've always wanted to
very
scuba.
Important.
Yep. I always wanted to, but I don't think I could. I'm like too freak outy. And
really?
Yeah, I don't think that I could handle it, because if I freaked out when I was like down, I'd be like, cool, this like I'm done, and I don't think I could not freak out.
Yeah. All right.
I'll watch some videos on YouTube, pretend I'm snorkeling, or pretend I'm scuba.
Scubaing. Oh, snorkeling. Did we put snorkeling?
Yes, it's highlighted up there.
Oh, that's why I didn't see it. He's highlighted. All right, so just going to kind of clean these alignments up a little bit. But I think this gives us the gist of like how some buttons can function, how things can populate in.
Yep.
I feel pretty good about it. So then I'm grouping these just so I can align them better.
Oh,
so we've kind of like, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say something stupid. It got quiet and like the music was on, and suddenly like this really swingy saxophone just like came out of nowhere, and I was like, oh, okay.
Hello.
And yes, we have about a half hour until the Daily Creative Challenge submissions that we're going to look at. We'll probably look at them and then come back, kind of button some stuff up, talk about what we did over the last 2 days. So make sure you submit those Daily Creative Challenges. I'm going to pop on over to right here. You can go to bit.ly/AI Discord. That is where you drop in your challenges. And let's see, there are a couple people that I saw had been dropping those in. So I'm going to pop over on my screen and just show what's going on over there. Some
awesome.
Moon phases. Oh, y'all are starting to get weird with the type. That's what we want. I made this window way too small, so my bad. We'll fix that when we actually go over to reviews. But yes, just about a half hour before you get those in, I'm sure that Voodoo Val will be dropping some reminders, because that is one of her favorite things to do. So let's hop back to your screen. There we go. And yes, Mark Bowden, you used to be a dive guide. That's super fun. Is that like a deep sea Sherpa?
Where at?
He lives in Bermuda, so I'm guessing.
Oh
Bermuda,
yeah, Bermuda. Yeah. Yep.
Did marine? Oh, he did marine construction. What?
What is that exactly? Like reconstruction?
Like maybe like he did construction underwater. There's like bridges and like cables and stuff.
Whoa.
That's
but
cool.
There's that crazy underwater museum in Mexico. That's why I want to learn to scuba.
What?
Yes. It's like an artist. I forget who does it. I can't remember what it's called. You should look it up. It
That's
seems
rad. Oh yeah, that's
rad.
literally my job.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes,
I didn't quite mean it like that.
I'm gonna chase a rabbit trail.
So I think I just want our buttons a little bigger for the continue and back. Do you think we should say back, or do you think our arrow is working?
I think the arrow works.
Okay.
And I think that keeps them, like, keeps pushing them through to the next thing.
Yeah. The only reason I think for the back is like, obviously we get cold feet and be like, ooh, actually, the more I think about that,
Yep. And the
maybe I do
underwater
wanna
museum is
try.
in Cancun. It is very, very cool.
Cancun. Yeah, and it's an artist, right? It's like his sculptures and stuff underwater.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yeah, and you go and you look through them. There are YouTube videos. They're really cool pictures. There's a bug, like a Volkswagen bug down there. A guy on a couch. There's like cool stuff. All right, well, I'm going to Cancun. I'm going to Hawaii, and then I'm going to Cancun, and then I'm coming to visit you in Bermuda at Mark Bowden. Just going to live in the tropical zones of the world.
I never take very many tropical vacations because why? Hawaii.
Yep.
But then you're like, man, there's so many other tropical amazing places.
Yep.
I just haven't learned yet.
Yeah, it's weird when you are like, oh, there's different kinds of tropical out there. That I thought Hawaii was just like, yeah, that's Hawaii, and then it's like Cancun or something, like, oh, this is a completely different thing.
Yeah. This is not the most efficient way to do this, but I just thought I wanted that continue button bigger.
Yep. I still love the colors that you used on the islands.
Awesome. Yeah. I wonder too, maybe this is like when you select this one, it does have like a pink gradient or something, because now the gradient seems to be becoming a thing. Okay. So I feel like, okay, enough about this to be like, okay, here's the vibe. I don't think we need to keep going down every question, right? We're seeing how this functions. So maybe we move on to something else. Like maybe we can make a postcard or a billboard or...
Oh yeah, let's do a billboard. That could be fun.
Okay, I did get a billboard mock-up.
Yeah, we did.
Now let's figure out its size again. It is...
And yeah, for those in chat who are watching, if you're ever working with a mock-up, find the size first. Don't work on your design and then try to just slam it into a mock-up. Figure out what the size is that you need and then design at that size.
But in all fairness, we're not all that responsible.
Exactly. We're going to scale to that size, which sometimes totally works.
We're gonna try to be responsible today and design to our size. So it's 3286 by 2422.
Have you ever done the thing where you do sketches after the fact, like that you design stuff and then you go back and do sketches to show sketches?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's like funny. in our case studies.
Yes.
Yep.
It was funny. We talk about that a little bit on our Friday show and hey students, show sketches. They want to see your process or whatever. And they're like, well, I just I don't really sketch. I jump in. And I was like, I have almost never sketched a day in my life. But at the tail end, I go back and I do the sketches because it happened in my brain. So I don't feel like I'm lying.
100.
I'm just trying to help you see it.
Yeah. No, I mean, 100%. I think I don't sketch either. I'm terrible with my hands. I think that's kind of why I fell in love with graphic design. It's because of Command Z. But a lot of our designers and our art directors, I think, incredible sketcher. So sometimes, that happens, but most of the time it's me trying to make something look good at the end.
Yep.
All right. So we have our sizes of our billboards. I think I kind of want to make some tints from these as potential background colors.
Oh, fun.
Let's see if I can move myself. I have images of you and I over our
we're just floating there in the ether.
Yeah. So let's see. Our artboard is progressively getting messier and messier.
Nothing wrong with that.
Let's see.
Yes, Kate. I think so many designers sketch after the fact. We just don't talk about it.
Just don't talk about it.
Yep.
Andrew and I have no shame.
None, zero, absolute zero. If you've watched literally any stream that I've ever been on, you know that. Also, the chat was living for your braids today earlier. I missed those comments. Yes.
Thank you. My neighbor, I live like in a duplex sort of thing. We call it an ohana. My neighbor has little girls and does beautiful braids. So I requested to have her little girls' braids.
Yes.
Okay, so what I got, if you remember yesterday, those from Good Studio, did we ever find them?
I didn't. I couldn't find them.
Well, that's crazy. There's so much of their work. But so I was thinking about bringing in more of their illustrations, since that's kind of become a part of our vibe. So what I was thinking on this one, I'm gonna grab this guy right here. And I was thinking of something like, I'm sure you've heard, it's a little bit of a cheesy, maybe not this one actually, cheesy saying of like, here today, gone to Maui.
Oh, I've never heard that. That's great.
Oh, really?
That's fantastic.
Right up. Oh, speaking of which, I told my husband of, I just lost it.
The high rise to high tide?
High rise to high tides, and he's obsessed.
Yes.
Yeah, we got to figure out where to use it.
Nailed it.
You definitely nailed it. He was like, I love it.
Somebody asked, Voodoo Val asked, what are your favorite go-to tools that you feel like you use all the time in Illustrator?
The align tools.
Yes. Oh my goodness, yes.
The align tools every day, all day.
Yep. It's something you don't think about, and then you're like, oh, that's so important and it's so useful.
It's so useful. Scale, man. Like, it's funny. It's the simplest thing, but like for brands, like we're just constantly trying to figure out how to like make things feel full. And so scale is such a part of that, right? Where you're like skewing something small one place and then making it massive someplace else, or, it's like really, really simple, but it's like creates a whole different vibe if it's massive as a texture in the background than if it's a tiny little detail somewhere else, right?
Yep.
All right, so my thought on the here today, gone to Maui was like taking one of these illustrations from these people who are like all kind of airporty in motion, and then taking an image of Hawaii and kind of layering it and then saying like, here today, gone to Maui kind of thing. So it's like they're in motion, the here today, gone to Maui, sentiment will be above it. So kind of got to recolor these into our color palettes real quick.
And for me, I love using, and I use it a lot, I use image trace all the time to do textures and to get like weird edges on type and stuff. It's super powerful. It used to be like when I first started using Illustrator, it was always like, don't use image trace, like it's not gonna like do anything. And it's been so refined and so improved that I'm like, yeah, I use it for type so much now. And it's super powerful to just like get the customizations that you want. I like really rough kind of wonky edges, and that helps me get those details.
Yeah.
I like that this guy looks angry at his watch. He's like, we gotta go.
He's late. Yeah, we might, I don't know if we're gonna have the time, but we might change his emotion.
Let's give him a different eyebrow.
Like, just make him a little.
Yeah, come on, bro.
Happier.
You're going to Hawaii. What are you doing? Why are you angry?
Yeah, we had a browner skin tone. Where's that? Oh, there we go. Yeah, he's just stressed. He's not in Maui yet, right? Like,
that's
until
true.
He gets there, he's just like, I can't wait to leave.
Yep.
He's en route. He's not there yet.
Oh my gosh, I want those pants. I would wear those pants for sure. Also, my hair has been that color. I think this is me. And yeah, if you guys want to submit, again, we have about 20 minutes till those daily creative challenges. We worked with some of my favorite tools today, working with warps, with distorts, all kinds of wonky weirdness. So submit those, or if you're catching up, you can submit one of your projects from yesterday Yesterday we did moon phases, so you can submit either of those by going to bit.ly/AI Discord. Voodoo Val will drop that link for you. And if you want to catch up, you can go to behance.net/challenge/illustrator and watch those. They will be live and available for you through the entirety of the rest of history. So you got some time to catch up.
Do a lot of people come back in later and catch up?
Yes, it's weird. Yeah, like I will hop into Discord and see projects that I had taught like months ago. And I'm like, oh my goodness, somebody's still making an animal out of a basic shape from our safari theme. So it's really cool to kind of come back and see those.
I want to take that one just because that's literally my illustration style, is like how to take basic shapes and turn them into funky faces and animals and whatnot. Okay. Because I think that, it's good enough for now. We could probably play more, but I don't want to take our time. So I'm thinking something where they're half in Maui, half in, imagine this billboard in LA.
Yep.
That one for now. All right, so we're gonna say here today, gone to Maui. I had looked this up this morning to see if anyone had like a copyright on it, and it seems like a copyright has expired.
Oh.
Which made me want to go ahead and
swoop on that.
Oh,
that's not the one.
That's not the one, right? There we go.
Here today, gone to Maui. This is very like LA airport ad.
Right. I think that's a pretty big demo because of how close Hawaii is to LA.
Yep. Yeah.
So one thing we haven't talked about yet too much is what type kind of looks like outside of, I guess more in a campaigny outside of the site way. Like, would it have more of a treatment? Would it have a gradient? The other thing that's hard about this is, no one knows what LA is. So I think in the long run, this tagline might not quite work.
Might need to have some kind of...
Might need to have the help plan your perfect Hawaiian getaway or whatever.
Yep.
But we can play with it for now. How are we doing on time? Because I could sit here on this thing all day.
Great. We got about 15 minutes before the review. So we'll do some reviews, and then we'll probably come back and just do an overall look at everything that we've done the last 2 days, get a quick vibe check in before we say goodbye. And for those of you who are going to stick around, hopefully you do, through the end of the day, Howard Pinsky is up next. Then we have Kyle T. Webster coming up at 2:30. Doing a little draw along, and our friend Voodoo Val, who is in chat, hanging out with Logan Farber, one of my favorite people. He's awesome, incredible illustrator. He'll be on at 3 o'clock with Voodoo Val. I believe that they are doing a design off with monsters. I believe they're making monsters. I saw a little preview on Logan's Instagram last night.
Ooh.
So stay tuned for those. It's gonna be a good day on Adobe Live here. It'll be a good day tomorrow as well. So come hang out for the rest of the day today. And then why not come back tomorrow, especially at 1 p.m. for office hours with Andrew Hochradel and Nick Longo. Oh, gosh. My life is one big self-promo at this point. I think that I've just transcended into that zone.
All right. So we're just going to move on from this one for now so that we can try to make some other things and not worry about perfecting that one too much. So I was thinking to just like a little postcard set.
Oh, I love postcards. I feel like people don't, well, and I'm guilty of this too. I had a project that I launched that was like physical, that I had to like mail stuff, and I was trying to mail out these little zines, and I literally like got envelopes and stuff, and I was like, what do I do? How do you mail the thing? Like, I had no context in my brain for like, how do you send mail? And so I'm like looking up like, okay, where does the return thing go? Okay, upper left, got it. And I'm like literally having to look up like how to mail something.
Wow. Yeah, I'm such a snail mailer. I send postcards all the time. I I love the mail.
Oh, that's awesome. It is so special to like
Care
get something that's
packages.
physical. Yep.
Yeah, I've sent a lot of care packages to friends since COVID started.
Yep. Are you okay? This is maybe the question. Are you a spam person? Because I know it's like a hot thing in Hawaii, like the meat.
Oh, like the food spam,
yes.
not
not the email, like the food spam.
Spam's probably a top 10 for me.
It's so good, and I feel like it gets such a bad rap. Like, I had fried spam when I went to Hawaii, and I was like, oh my goodness, why is everyone not eating this every day for breakfast? Like, it is the greatest thing.
Word. So I think the big thing here is that, oh yes, let's try that. So it's called Spam Musubi, and it has a rice patty, like a little square rice,
Yep.
The size of a Spam typically, and then Spam, and then it's wrapped in seaweed. You can get them anywhere, and it is it's just like a staple food that only. Oh, so I went to the Spam Museum when I was in high school, which is in Minnesota, and half the museum is dedicated to Hawaii because Hawaii consumes like 90% of the world's spam or something like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's just huge here. But we also have like, the chefs have perfected how to enjoy and eat it properly. Yep. It's not just like, normal.
It's elevated.
Yeah, it's elevated spam, 100%.
Yes.
Yeah, it's silly everywhere else, but here it's just like a cultural, very important food item.
That type looks so good.
We're here if you need anything at all. Maybe needs to come down. So my thought here was like, again, this is like this fantasy world right now because it's not quite a real brand yet, is like before you come, you get this postcard in the mail that's like exciting fun. You about it, and that's making you, get pumped for your trip.
And that way it's like, oh, we got the postcard in the mail. Like, oh, let's look at this service and take this quiz to like find out what we should do when we go. That's fun.
Okay. I don't know if we keep that gradient. Okay, so here's where I'm wondering, like, should we color each of these letters? Should we make them gradient? So typically, I'm curious if you have a suggestion. What I would do with gradient type is I would outline it and then make it gradient. And so I would copy and paste it so that I wouldn't lose it. Is that how you'll do it? Because I've always found it frustrating that you can't just, make it gradient. Do you know what I mean? You yawning?
Yep, sorry, I was about to cough. I've been like dying. I was like trying not to make myself cough because I've been dying on stream all day for some reason. And so I was grabbing my trusty water bottle, which is almost empty now. I've been like leaning over behind your screen because I'm like hiding behind your screen every time I go off screen to like try to drink water and not cough straight into the mic.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I couldn't see. I wasn't looking at you, so I was like, do I hear you yawning?
Yeah,
What's going on, buddy?
Over like, it's so loud because it like sneaks up and I go straight into the mic. I think, yes, I usually make a copy, I outline, and then I'll make it a compound path to then do the gradient like that, which I think is what you've done. Yeah. I just like always keep it there just in case you don't like it, right? Like you always have the copy in case it doesn't work out. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then here's like, your address and your what's it called? So you can't really put too much there. So
the
I think
thing, yes.
Yeah, the stamp thing. So let's find another.
I'm just learning about mailing.
yeah, we'll just this is how it works.
Yes,
Andrew.
It's a lesson for me.
And in postcards, only postcards, you don't have to put the name of the return address. It's the only time you can legally. Everywhere else you have to put,
Huh.
Yeah. Don't know why. All right, so we're gonna grab just one of these vibes. I'm just trying to think like which one will kind of fit into the postcard well.
You know what? Like this could. Oh yeah.
She might have to be vertical. I kind of like when like you get something vertical and you have to flip it to see the other side.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I totally agree.
Nothing's designed that way, but I like it.
I do too, especially like business cards when I'm like, I have to interact with it like a little bit more.
Yeah, I like that feeling a lot too.
Well, that's an interesting idea. Sam, a topic to cover could be a kosher travel guide to Hawaii.
Actually, so in the food section, so glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
We have like the same way that we have kind of this. We will say like, do you have any food sensitivities or preferences? And it says gluten-free, kosher, vegetarian.
Yep.
And it kind of, so I have to eat gluten-free because of an autoimmune disease. So that's something I'm sensitive to in traveling. So yeah, we'll have all those options. And like I said, my mom already started this pretty extensive list and has found, a couple great kosher options. And it's important to note that that's a really helpful thing in helping us decide what island you should go to.
Yep.
So if you can only eat kosher, you have to go to maybe some of the islands that are more populated because you have so many more food options, right?
Yep, exactly. Yeah, I have an allergy called oral allergy syndrome, and I'm allergic to almost all raw fruits and vegetables. And so I have to cook. Yeah, they have to be cooked. It's something about the proteins. My mouth reads it as pollen. And then I get like super itchy. I'll get sick. I'll get like hives in my mouth. And so I have to like cook.
I'm so sorry.
Things. I know it's the worst, especially in Hawaii, that like there are days when I'm like, all right, I'm popping some Benadryl and eating whatever this fruit is because it looks so delicious.
Okay. Yeah. So you can, in extreme circumstances, you're not gonna do this for yourself all the time.
Yeah. I'm not going to die, but it's like extremely uncomfortable. And so there are times when I'm just like, I'm in Hawaii, I'm hot and I need some watermelon right now. I'm just going to deal with it for the next few hours and just enjoy this watermelon for a second.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Sam, when can we use it? We are working on it, and it may be a thing that comes to light. It may be a thing that just stays an idea, right? I think we're a little unsure right now. We are applying to maybe have it covered by one of those Adobe grants as well, so it may exist.
Yep.
And we'll see what happens.
We're really my dream for it is that it will come up by the end of summer as people start traveling again, that it would be like a resource for that. But the only like kind of hang up right now is it's going to cost a lot of money to develop this kind of algorithm, right?
Yep.
That will just populate quickly people's answers and then it'll need another step, obviously, of actual like UI and UX beyond my skill set. I'm just vibing, right?
Yep.
So
and
hopefully,
Sam, if you want to follow along, you can follow along Nina at weekday_studio on social media or just weekdaystudio.com. And if it happens and becomes a real thing, I'm sure that they'll be posting about it. So
it'll
you
be
can
there.
Just follow and get updates as they come.
100%.
Got about 5 minutes till challenge reviews. So go ahead and submit those challenges on Discord, and we'll be talking about that in just a few minutes.
I'm going to crop this with a clipping mask instead.
Oh, it's fun. What's up, Kerwin? Welcome. Cicely, I'm very late, but this looks amazing. Yes, you made it, though. That's what counts.
Hi, Cicely.
Oh, that's so fun. It's cool how the colors that you chose are really incorporating into all the images. That like it's beachy, it's like delicious, it's like relaxing, like all the colors kind of just vibe into whatever that is.
Thanks. That's the hope. I think I could make a tint of that one. Might be fun.
Ooh.
I actually kind of like the light pink. So yeah, you can see these like just becoming, and then even the same way we made this layered, I could see doing that as well, like layering the illustrations with the images.
Oh yeah, I could even see like that, like illustration with all the people could be a cool thing to use like as a frame and put some of that key messaging like among the people.
Which one? I want to see.
It was one of those, yeah. Of all the people on the beach.
Okay, yeah, let's go to the beach.
So like use like that whole image and then take out like the people in the top left and then put like the copy up there or whatever. It's like this super populated beach.
The future or the past rather.
Yes, exactly. That's
populated true. Beaches. Even this one, which we used a little bit, I thought the fun thing about getting these vectors, right, is you can just pop things in and out, change things and customize them, simplify them, or, you could see popping this into the sign.
That's true. Yeah.
Right. Could even reshape the sign a little bit. This is why I love my job so much, because I love getting to work with other people and taking their skill sets and marrying them with mine, and it just makes it all so fun, the everyone working together process.
Yeah, collaboration is such an important thing in creativity. And that's why I love
somehow
Adobe
not
Live.
Collecting these all. Yeah, how long have you been doing these?
Oh gosh, just over a year. I think my first one was in February, so just over a year. And then I've started doing hosting more, doing the daily creative challenges. We're going through, I believe, October now, so hopefully you'll keep seeing my face around. I have so much fun doing it. So
awesome.
Yeah, I pop up here and there.
Oh, I just realized, this just occurred to me right here. Like, these things are Instagram. I'm jumping back and forth, and nobody really knows that. So we need to call that out as.
Oh, that's true. Yep. Follow us or whatever
right?
It is.
Yeah.
Got to get that CTA.
I actually, so I checked out Cancel Con yesterday.
Oh yeah.
And
yes, let's talk about that.
I saw, no information yet for the second one, right?
No, it's happening July 11th. But other than that, no information so far. We actually have meetings with some speakers later today. So we're locking in the initial lineup,
awesome.
And then we're going to put it out there. It will be, I think that it's going to be a pay what you want model this time and free for students forever. So it's happening July 11th. It is on the way. We are planning as we go.
Okay, cool. But so on the first one, I saw Josh Ariza, who is a friend of mine.
Oh, I love Josh. I live in near him. So he helps run Connecting Things, which is a great thing in Southern California. So I spoke Connecting Things right before all this craziness happened. And yeah, Josh is awesome. Josh actually, I believe I can say this. I think that I'm sponsored by Chomp. Chomp's like one of my favorite bands. It's my favorite logo that's ever been made. And so yeah, I'm very often in some Chomp stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, Josh is a very, very talented illustrator. And all around very nice guy. Yeah, I feel like we probably have a lot more friends in common than we even know.
It's true, and it's weird how we talked about it yesterday. Like, the design community can get so small when you just reach out and try to connect with people. Like, I mean, people know people, and everyone's pretty much friendly. Like, there are sure some bad apples here and there, but everyone's pretty friendly. And it's like, yeah, let's all just be friends.
100%. All right, how are we doing on time? I was going to try to make.
We got about 1 minute.
Okay.
We can swing back, so we can do some reviews and then swing back and kind of mess with that, and then wrap up the days.
All right, sounds great.
So, all right, let's hop over. Let's put up your promo slide while I get this set up real quick. So you can follow Nina again, weekday_studio or weekdaystudio.com. My goodness, my words are just exploding. But we are going to hop over into our daily creative challenge missions. Is there a form for people to apply to be a guest for the July 11th con? Not yet. That will be a thing that will be going up. We'll be taking requests for guests as well as sponsors. Thank you, Voodoo Val, for that. All right, let's hop over into Discord. I don't know why I sang that. It felt right. All right, we are here. Oh, that's my conversation with Wade. So you guys got to see Wade is a bromance that was happening right before this stream. And now let's go over to the challenge. Sorry, you can't see that, Nina, but I clicked on the wrong tab and it was just a conversation. All right, so let's start here maybe at the bottom with Zgub. Zgub, yes.
Yep.
Let's start at the top at the patch and then kind of work our way down. It looks like they're doing a couple challenges here. And so the
Can you
first
catch
one,
me up on what the challenge was?
yes. So the one that happened today was to distort objects or type to make it look like it was being sucked into a black hole. I
Okay.
believe the one that he's doing here at the top is to make a logo patch, which was one of our first challenges. So
Cool.
let's look at the patch and give some feedback, and then we'll go continue up into some of the other challenges.
Cool. You want to go ahead or you want me to go?
Yeah, sure. You can go ahead.
Sure. So I love this one. Love the little twinkles. Feels very fun for something that maybe is, serious, like going into space for astronauts. Love the little glow on it. Super curious how that would. I would love to see if like what a seamstress would do in that. Like, could you create some kind of effect like that glow, or is this like something we can only do digitally?
Yeah, or like maybe like it's screen printed on there or something.
Yeah,
Because that glow would be tough to embroider.
It'd be tough in a real patch, but it's fun. Yeah, I think the only thing I'd like to see is like the mint color is like feels like it's getting potentially like a little lost, especially in the ring with the white. So that would be my only thing is I'm losing the mint a little bit. So maybe something with a little more contrast, but this was really fun.
Yeah, I agree. It's super fun. The thing that I would pay attention to is the kerning on your type on a path there is getting a little bit tight. I would shrink it down and then kern it out a little bit. And it also looks like you are aligned to the ascender. So you're aligned to the top of those letters, which makes them kind of like touch each other too much. So you want to align that to the center. And if you go back and rewatch the challenge, I think I covered it in the middle of the challenge. So you can change that to aligning to the center of that path. Cool. Let's head up to Chocolita. And this is where we are starting to move into warps. So they're taking regular shapes and trying to make it look like they're getting sucked into that black hole.
Cool. Fun.
This reminds me, your spaceship reminds me of the elevator in Willy Wonka. You know, like when they like blast through the like sky at the end and they're like this little spaceship. For some reason that reminds me of it. But you did a great job making it super wonky. It looks like you have distorted it both to have like the momentum into the black hole as well as like maybe some of the pieces are breaking off. So yeah, I think this is really great.
Yes, it's fun. I think the only thing that I'm wondering about is the Saturn. Looks like, why isn't the Saturn getting pulled in? He's so close. So like either pull him in or position him in a place where it makes sense that he's not being sucked in.
Yep.
Or maybe he's just starting to get sucked in because he's just getting close enough to the black hole.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fun.
Poor guy. I like got sad when I thought about that because I was like, oh, he's probably existed for so long and he's about to get sucked into a black hole and exist no more. Or maybe he'll travel through time. Who knows? All right, let's go ahead and go up to Ruben above. And it looks like Ruben is combining some of our challenges. We did one to build planets. We did one to do a scatterbrush of stars. And it looks like you're taking all of our challenges and throwing them into a black hole. Nina, any feedback? Let's have you start on this one.
All right, yeah. So I think it's fun to see. Again, like I don't know exactly what the specifics of when the texture happened, but I really love the textures that are on the outer ones. On the kind of inner ones, they look like actually they're quite a bit more flat. Where it would be kind of nice if there was like some consistency, I guess, in that way. But yeah, love seeing them all pulled in. I don't actually know much about how these tools work, Andrew, but like the blue star farthest to the left versus the yellow star, are those two different things happening there, it looks like?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening there, and I was going to comment on that too, that it looks like maybe like the brush or something about the way you're distorting it, it is giving it that weird little like extra heading down, and so I would just maybe outline and delete that blue one. So you have that same kind of pull. And then I love what you've done with the letters. It looks like you've done some kind of mesh warp or something to get those little edges kind of pulling off. And I think that's cool because in theory it would move like that. It wouldn't all move the same way. It would kind of have like little wobbles and wibbles that were wobble and wibbling into the black hole.
Right.
Yeah, great job. I'd love to see maybe some stars over this, or maybe some texture or something. It feels like a little flat to me for some reason, and just something to give it some dimension I think could be interesting too. All right, continuing up, let's go to M. Bonnert. Nina, you can start on this one.
Okay, fun. Love what's going on with the type. I think it's a little hard to read, but I still like the effect that it's doing. So maybe mission could be pulled up a little bit so that I think it says mission space. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, it should. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So maybe just finding a way to pull that up a little bit, but love the effect it's doing. Love what it's actually, this one's kind of interesting because it looks like the rocket is not facing the direction of the black hole, like it was flying the other direction and then being sucked in. I really love that. And then I would say the only other thing is, like, I feel like maybe there's a lot of stars under the rocket that are maybe like creating an unnecessary amount of content right there. Like I keep looking over there, but not for anything special, where there's so many other things special happening everywhere else that I might want to delete one or two of those that are half hidden behind the rocket.
I agree. Yeah. And it does feel like there is a lot right there and then not a lot in other places. And so it is, I did the same thing that I'm like, I'm just staring at that like part of the rocket. I would work on maybe like balancing out some of the color as well. It feels like everything's very like spacey and muted, but then the stars are super bright, and then the spaceship is like even more bright. Of maybe dulling down that pattern or the color palette so that it's a little more muted. And I agree, having the rocket being sucked into the center more, it looks like it's kind of like being sucked into like a side, that maybe you can use an arc distort to pick up like the back of that, getting like it swooped in. So play with stacking distorts. Maybe you can try another effect on top of it. All right, we're going to warp speed above with J. Lewis. Warp speed. I think I really like what you've done with the extruding the type. I told them to get like super weird and wonky, and this is definitely like extruded type on distort with a spaceship like being pulled into a black hole. I like it. I feel like if you're going to do that, those now feel like they like take up space and they're like physical objects, and so I want them to be pulled more into the black hole. Is maybe they're like blocks and they're kind of tilted, each one's kind of moving at its own speed or something, but kind of breaking those apart I think would help to really get that.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think like if it was, they're either broken apart to help with that, but also just like that the W is in the A and the R, even the P, start to feel like they are actually being pulled in, where the speed doesn't feel like it's being pulled in. So figuring out how to actually tilt them to the way that it actually goes, the tilt feels like it's being dragged as well.
Yep.
And then I think because that has like so much going on and it's so fun, the effect, then the rocket feels like a little less special, which is maybe okay, right? Like if you really want to focus on warp speed, but it would be fun to see some effect pulling in the rocket as well.
I agree. And this is kind of a key tip to everyone who is designing, that's starting to play with gradients and stuff. You don't always need a stroke on everything. So when you're illustrating, a lot of times there is the urge to put a black stroke on everything that you're doing. I think for like the fire and even the spaceship, you don't need a stroke on it. It looks like the spaceship has a little bit of a black stroke. The fire thrusters have the black stroke. You don't need it. You can just use flat colors, and it still will be identifiable, especially on a dark background. It's kind of a default that I see a lot of people do, is just toss that stroke on there, and you don't always need it.
Yep, word.
Going up to Parth 03. Can time flow through a black hole? You've really expanded this. The source file that I gave them had this black hole shape, but then it was just like black on the background. So I love that you've added things to this.
Fun. Yeah, I love this one. I think I really like, and it seems like he's also changed the colors of the black hole, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
This is the only one that looks different.
Yeah, it's
so
true. Yeah, it's darker. He has a gradient in there, maybe.
yeah, so I think the only things I'd like to see is like the effect that's creating the haze is like, kind of harsh, where maybe if you blended it out, your percentages of having like a 10% or something, it wouldn't feel like it was like stamped on quite so much. It would feel like it blended into the sky more. And then the only other thing is I think I'd love to see the black hole either continued on off of the page or moved over left adjacent with the left side of the page, because it looks like I guess maybe I don't totally understand black holes though. Maybe it's fine that it just stops.
I would say, yeah, like, I don't know, like maybe round the back if you're not gonna, like, maybe it just stops and just like round it off. It looks like it got cut off. And so, yeah, I agree. The only other feedback that I would have, it looks like you're using directional gradients on that kind of smoke, that it's lighter on the right and then gets darker on the left. I'd go back and watch the lesson that we did on freeform gradients and make that a freeform gradient, because then you can put the splotches of white where you want them and then have the edges fade out where you want them. Just do points of white and black, and then the black will fade away and the white will kind of leave this lingering haze. And then putting the time on top of the moon or whatever that is, time gets completely lost. So I would work with augmenting those colors. Maybe time is green or something.
Yep.
Can
time flow through a black hole?
I remember there was like some study that came out that they were like, time is augmented in black holes, or like it acts differently, like it slows down or something. I don't remember though. Yeah, black holes are interesting because they just kind of exist and we don't know like anything about them.
Yeah.
All right, let's move up to our alien being abducted, which I love.
Nice.
Sandy, super fun. Nina, any thoughts on this one?
This one feels so 90s in all the right ways.
Oh, yes, it does. It's super fun.
Yeah, it's so fun and colorful. I love actually the contrast of like, there's like this like hazy, gauzy color palette in the blues and purples and the effects. And then there's like this detail and brightness in the alien area. I loved that. Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing is I would say, and Andrew, help me out here, is there's a lot of types of effects maybe for one image.
Yep.
And like I don't even know how you did all this. It's amazing, but I think it could maybe benefit from, there's like I think the alien and the oh no is like special on its own. There could maybe be just some more ability just to focus on that, where I almost want to just like, it feels like this piece of art that I just want to look at every little speck of detail in it, and there's not like a specific focal point, which is sometimes okay, but I think I'd like to be able to focus on the specialness of the oh no and the alien.
I agree, yeah, and it almost has, so I really like this style that's I think it's called brutalist maximalism, and it's the idea that you put like as much as you can on there to like overwhelm, and like it just becomes like this vibe. Like I could either see you adding like planets and more stars, and like I could see you just totally blowing it out of the water with this, or refining it back to be a little bit less. I don't necessarily need whatever the top right is, like the extra spaceship with the thing coming down. I could just have the alien kind of getting sucked in, but I do like the idea that it's like almost getting abducted. I think that some of your colors are a little bright and jarring as compared to others as well.
I kind of like that about it.
I do too. It almost gives me like a sticker vibe. Like to me, this feels like it's like a binder that like you've like put stickers on, which I think is really fun.
It's Lisa Frank went to space with aliens.
Yes, Lisa Frank in space with aliens.
Yeah.
That's great.
But that's the fun thing about design too, is it's subjective. So something that might not resonate with me as well might resonate with you, or vice versa, right?
Yeah, no wrong answers. All right, cool. That was super fun. Make sure you come back tomorrow. We will be doing our last daily creative challenge. We are plotting our course home. We're using custom brushes. So come back tomorrow, 11:30 a.m., and then stay tuned right after that for 1 p.m. when we do office hours with Nick Longo and review your portfolios. All right, Nina, we've done it. We've reached pretty much the end. I think there was one more thing we wanted to do, and then we wanted to recap what we do. We have about 10 minutes to kind of wrap things up here.
Okay. So all I wanted to do is kind of like see how a couple images would look next to each other, like in an Insta feed kind of thing.
Oh, rad.
If we have just a brief moment for that, because that's actually just something, like I said yesterday, we have started the Instagram, but we haven't done anything with it besides just post images.
Yep.
Where I would like to start to think about, what would it look like if we actually had things other than imagery on the feed. But we'll see what we can do in 10 minutes here.
Yep. And even and we talked about this earlier, like the colors that you've picked, that all feels like it goes together already. It's this picture, and like you're getting the flower vibe, you're getting a little bit of the skin tone, you're getting a little bit of like the smile, like everything is like, oh yeah, these colors totally just vibe together.
They just vibe. Let's find a couple more images.
Oh yes, and Voodoo Val, thanks for the reminder. We have about 10 minutes until the XD Daily Creative Challenge with our friend Howard Pinsky. We're going to do a little raid for him at the end of this. I'll give you guys a secret emoji to drop into his chat as he gets started to let him know that you're coming from the stream with Hakanina. Yeah, stay tuned for that. Also, Hakanina sounds like a really cool band name.
I agree.
Yeah.
I right when you said it, it like kind of made me perk up and want to know more.
Yes.
And I realized you were talking about us.
Yes, it's either like a really delicious restaurant or like a really cool like band. Do you ever do, when you're doing Instagram, do you ever do like the overlays between images that it's like, oh,
yeah.
I'll post like 3 or 4 or whatever?
Yeah, if you want to go check out our Instagram while I'm doing this, if you scroll back a while, there used to be a whole thing. So much work.
Yes.
That it's no longer a thing.
Yep.
But it was a thing. And then like, I mean, it's interesting. Like we're not big on social media at all. But like, it is interesting how much work that takes, but how like little engagement it got. But the funny thing is, everyone always talked about it. All of our clients would comment on it, everyone. And social media is such a funny thing. And like, we spend all this money on our case studies and our portfolio and photographing our work. And like, clients always are like, what's your Instagram? You know, like they don't care about our website, they care about our Instagram.
Yep.
Which drives me up the wall. Even our really, really big time clients that we've gotten, like Fortune 500 brands, and they're like, our first call, and they're like, hey, what's your Instagram? And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yep. So
it matters more than maybe I would like to admit.
Yep.
So
we are vibing, man. It's been a good day for vibes. I've been in a good vibe. Have you been in a good vibe?
I'm in a great vibe. I'm also in Hawaii. If you could see what was outside my window right now, you would understand that every day is a great vibe.
It's
in Hawaii. Maybe we'll say enjoy Hawaii.
It's a good overcast kind of day here. That's the zone that I like to be in.
Okay, yeah. What, you're from Northern California, you said originally?
Tell
me that. Sacramento?
Yes, I was originally from Sacramento area, and then have moved down to Southern California.
Yeah. So that's what I was going to ask, because you're from a kind of moodier vibe of weather, and how do you feel now being in Southern California?
I can't take the summers. It's so hot. It'll be like 118 here, and I'm like, I'm just gonna not go outside. Like it's ruined. I remember I went to and this gave me comparison. I went to Vegas once in the summer, and at 3:00 in the morning, it was 113 degrees. And I was like, why would you ever be here?
Yeah, no, it gets nuts there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when we lived in LA, we had an apartment that it had no air conditioning, and it had like this, our bed was in an upstairs loft. And at nighttime, the heat rises, right? So in the middle of summer, it would be 118 degrees in our bedroom at night. And we ended up moving from that place just because of the heat. And the heat in Southern California is just gets serious. And if you don't have AC, it kind of gets dangerous. Like people die outside, like homeless people die. Like it's awful.
Yep. My room is directly above the garage. And so you probably have seen throughout stream, I've gotten more and more sweaty, which I have my like powder brush to keep myself from shining too much. But it's right above the garage. And so when it gets hot, my room just turns into like this oven. And so I'm not looking forward to streaming in the summer because I'm just going to be like a sweaty mess on camera.
Yeah. What, you need to get a little portable AC in there.
I know. I have to like figure out how to balance the audio with like still having a fan or something.
Yep.
Because and I haven't and like this might be a knock on wood thing, but I kind of want it to happen. Like we haven't had an earthquake yet on a stream. I've had earthquakes like right before streams, but never like on a stream because earthquakes happen all the time. And we're just like, okay, whatever, it's shaking. And I think it'd be fun to be like, we're on stream and there was an earthquake.
No joke.
Vibes. And just for recap, everyone, our schedule coming up, we have Howard Pinsky coming up in just a minute. He's probably in the waiting room. Hi, Howard. Our friend Kyle T. Webster is up at 2:30 doing a little draw along. Hi, Kyle. I want to meet you and be your friend. And then Voodoo Val, who is in chat, is hanging out with Logan Farber at 3 o'clock. So make sure you stick around for all of those. In about 3 minutes, I'll be giving you our secret emoji to drop into Howard's chat. To say hi and let him know that you are coming from our stream and rating over there. There's about 370 of you. So I don't know. I hope to see maybe 250 will make the transition. That'll be really fun. All right.
Right. So you're getting a little vibe here. You can see the gist of what we would start to play with.
Yeah. Let's look at an overview and tell us, we have about 3 minutes left. What have we made in these last 2 days?
Awesome. So we started off with kind of creating this site, right, that brings people understanding of what they could do in Hawaii. It's a quiz. We're calling it Hele. So we kind of made this little word mark with font we found on Typekit. We kind of messed with the L a little bit with the curvature. We got these illustrations and kind of colored them up to our brand, and we just kind of played with type and some really simple layouts to start to try to see how these things all relate. We decided actually kind of late in the game that we wanted to bring the gradient in everywhere. We played with these little personality arrows that give it a little special fun feel. We went into what the quiz could look like. Creating these little sliders and little buttons that will help people just kind of us get a better understanding of how you prefer to travel. And then at the end, we'd give you a list of what's possible. We kind of created some vibes in this towel, in the Aloha towel, kind of being cheesy tourists, leaning into it. We created this kind of billboard vibes. We created this Instagram feed, and we created some postcards here that would come to you in the mail before your trip, letting you know how to contact us in case you have questions or concerns along the way. And we kind of just created a tropical, bright, rainbowy Hawaii vibe.
Yes, it feels like delicious somehow. To me, I look at this and I'm just like, it's like a popsicle or a fun drink or some kind of like fruit plate or something like on the beach. Cool. Well, thanks for hanging out, Nina. This has been super fun. Thank you, everyone in chat. Again, if you want to follow Nina, you can go to any of these links up above me, at weekday_studio on social media, or just weekdaystudio.com. Let's cut back to our main screen and give everyone our goodbye. Nina, is there a special way to say goodbye from Hawaii to our friends around the world?
Aloha, actually.
Aloha. There we go. Well, thanks for hanging out, everybody, and aloha.
Aloha.